Welcome dear students, welcome to the today's class. Today we are going to discuss on while and do while loops in Java. In the last class we had discussed about the for loops in Java. We had discussed that there are two more kinds of loops. Now today's class we will be discussing those two loops which are while loops and the do while loops. So welcome aboard students. I am Dr. Subodh Prasad. I am working in the capacity of assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology in the College of Technology Govind Vallabh Pant University of Agriculture and Technology Patnagar Uttarakhand. So let us start with the learning objectives of today. So what are the learning objectives? These are understanding while loops, while loop conditions, while loop examples, understanding do while loops, do while loop conditions and do while loop examples. So while statement in Java. As we had discussed in the last class, loops are a method in which we are going to iterate a particular area, a particular section of any program to repeat itself again and again. While statements are doing the same thing. In the Java, while loop is used to iterate a part of the program repeatedly till the specified condition is true. As soon as the condition becomes false, the loop automatically stops. If the number of iterations is not fixed, it is recommended to use the while loop. So understanding the difference between while loop and for loop, in the for loop we had seen that we have to already provide the number of iterations which the program in a particular section is going to take. But on the contrary, in the while loop, what is the benefit? The benefit is that we are going to see that the iterations are not fixed. How many iterations will be there that the programmer does not know. Till the particular point is reached, the program will keep on going, and therefore this has got an advantage over our for loop, because for unlimited number of iterations till a particular condition is not met, this particular while statement will keep on working. The while statement control flow diagram, as you can see in this particular diagram, is that this a condition is given and then the statement is provided, and that statement will keep on going till the condition is true, and as soon as the condition is false, the particular while loop will exit. Now there are while loop statements that can run for infinite times. Why does this happen? How does this happen? The body of a while loop must eventually make the condition false. Every time the condition is checked and every time it is seen the condition is true, then the while loop will continue working, and every time when this while loop gets the value false of a particular condition checking, the while loop exits itself. So we must keep this in mind while creating our program, that eventually the condition must come to false. This should not be the case in the for loop, because in the for loop we have already provided the situation where the for loop will stop, but we must keep in mind that an iteration or a particular condition has to come to an end, because the condition must come to false at one point of time. If this is not the case, then an infinite loop will run, which will execute until the user interrupts the program. So in that case, the output window will keep on printing or will keep on displaying the same output, that an infinite loop gets executed, and then you have to manually stop the program by using the stop keyword is a control C in the Java program. You have to press the control C and then the program will come to an halt. So this is a common type of logical error, as we can see it over here. So always, again I am telling the students, always double check that your loops will terminate normally. Otherwise, many a times it is seen that such infinite loops may also cause any problem to the operating system also. Now let us see what is the syntax of a while loop in Java. The syntax, as I have already explained before, the syntax is a proper method by a proper strategy by using which we write a program, a proper way is given to us by the programming community, that how and in a proper way we can write a program. So starting we write while, while, then we give says, and then we write in the parenthesis the particular condition. After that we put on curly braces, and then we write the code that has got to be executed. And after that it is necessary, remember this, that increment or decrement statement has to be there. If such statement is missing, then what will happen? Then the while loop will continue to run itself infinitely, and the indefinite while loop will start. So let us now see an example of while loop. What exactly is a while loop? Now starting with a while loop, we will first of all write a public class where we have written camel case the example, while example, and then the curly braces start. Public static void main strings arguments are written in the parenthesis. Then again curly braces have started, and we have written that int I is equal to 0. We have initialized a variable named I, and we have given it a value 0. And after that, what we have done, we have written our while statement, a loop statement named while, while space, then we have given in the parenthesis I is less than is equal to 2. After that, in curly braces we have written system.out.println my name is Gaurav, and then semicolon, and after that we have given I plus plus. After that we have closed the curly braces 3 times because we had started 3 different blocks, so we have to close all those 3 blocks by using 3 curly braces, closing curly braces. Now what do you think? How many times this program will get executed? Let us see. Starting from int I is equal to 0, when this program will get executed, a variable named I will be created and it will be given a value 0. And then the next line while statement will check that while the condition of I less than is equal to true, is this the condition true or is this condition false? So first of all, I is 0, therefore we will see is 0 less than equal to 2. So the answer to this question is yes. The answer is true. The compiler receives a boolean true, and therefore the next part of the program, which is the block of the code, it will get executed, and which will give the output in my name is Gaurav. This my name is Gaurav will get printed on the screen. You can see in the output that it is mentioned in the last below the slide. You can see the output is my name is Gaurav, but this is output is showing 3 times. Then what we will see in the program, see, we have given my name is Gaurav output. After that, what we have done, we have given the increment I plus plus, right? So what does this I plus plus mean? I plus plus mean I is equal to I plus 1, or it means that we are incrementing the value of I by 1 unit. So the value of I, which was initially 0, what will it now become? It will now become 1. After this, the condition will again get checked of the while, that is checking the I, is it less than equal to 0? Now what is the value of I? The value of I is now 1. So is 1 less than or equal to 2? Yes. The answer is a boolean true. Therefore, this program, the next line, the block which is following the while, it will get executed. System.out.println my name is Gaurav, and this my name is Gaurav will get printed, right? Till now we have seen that 2 times this particular line, my system.out.println my name is Gaurav has got executed. Therefore, 2 times my name is Gaurav has been printed on the screen. But then again we will see after this that there is a line I plus plus. Again the value of I will get incremented by 1 unit. Now what will become the value of I? The value of I will now become 2. So again the while will check I is less than equal to 2. Yes, I is equal to 2 and 2 is equal to 2. That means this program again, this while again sends the compiler a message, yes, it is true, a boolean true is given. Therefore again this system.out.println my name is Gaurav will get executed, and as soon as this is executed, again you will see the third line in the output. You can see 3 times my name is Gaurav is printed. Then what happens after that? After that there is one more I plus plus just after this system.out.println. This I plus plus will now make the value of I increment by 1. So value of I will now become 3. Then what will happen? Then the while loop will again check that is I less than equal to 2. So this value will now return no. So a boolean false will be returned to the compiler, which will state that now the value of I has become 3, which is not less than or equal to 2. Therefore now it is time that this while loop has to exit. Therefore this while loop exits, and which is now you can see in the output only 3 times this while loop got executed, and 3 times the output was printed on the screen, which showed my name is Gaurav 3 times, right? Now we will again take an example of infinite while loop, which I was telling to you just before the previous example, that there are cases when people forget to write some lines, or they do not write the proper statement which will lead a condition to become false. Therefore the while gets trapped, and this trapped while prints the same thing or does the same thing again and again, again and again, right? So let us take a look at this example. In this example, you can see what we have written is public class while example in the camel case, and then the curly braces have started public static void main and the string arguments. After that the curly braces start int I is equal to 0. Then again what we have written, while I is less than equal to 2, and then in the curly braces now start system.out.println, and in parenthesis we have written my name is Gaurav in double inverted commas, right? Then we have put a semicolon, and then we have closed all the curly braces. Now if you look it closely, what will happen the first time? I will be equal to 0, right? And the while will check I is 0, and is 0 less than equal to 2? Yes. The answer is yes. Therefore this while will return a boolean true to the compiler, and the compiler will execute the next line. And what is the next line? The next line is system.out.println my name is Gaurav, and therefore the output will get printed on the screen, which is my name is Gaurav. And after that what will happen? After that the while will again check that while I is less than equal to 2. So the value of I is 0, and yes, the compiler will now again get a boolean true that yes, I and it is 0 is less than or equal to 2, and therefore the value will again get printed, that is my name is Gaurav. And again after this while will check that is 0 less than or equal to 2. So again my name is Gaurav will get printed. Now what we are seeing, that there is a mistake. We have forgotten to increase the value of I after the system.out.println, or we can say that we have forgotten to increment the counter which was supposed to be I, and because we forgot to increase I by any value 1 or 2 or whatever, this has led to an infinite while loop. Therefore the output which I have written over here in the below part of the slide, output is infinite while loop, my name is Gaurav, my name is Gaurav, my name is Gaurav, and this will keep on printing continuously till you have to manually stop it. To manually stop, what you have to do, you have to press Ctrl C. This will stop your program manually. But please be very cautious. Whenever you are writing a program and you are writing a loop, then you have to provide a condition which will eventually get false, and provide the compiler a false, and therefore the program gets terminated. Otherwise what you have to do, you have to press Ctrl C, right? But before you press Ctrl C, or this loop gets trapped in itself, this can lead a very big problem for the operating system. Therefore never ever try to do such a mistake. And one more thing, dear students, I have told you in the previous for loop example also, never put a semicolon after a for loop. Similarly in a while loop, you see, you take quite attention that in the while loop also there is no semicolon after the while statement, right? We put semicolons only after the statements which are inside the while block or which are inside the main block, right? Never put a semicolon just after a while loop or just after a for loop, right? So after this, what we are going to see? Now we are going to see the do while statement in Java. Now what is a do while? The Java do while loop is used to iterate a part of the program repeatedly until the specified condition is true. If the number of iteration is not fixed and you need to execute the loop at least once, it is recommended to use a do while loop. Java do while loop is called an exit control loop. Unlike while loop and for loop, the do while check the condition at the end of the loop body. The Java do while loop is executed at least once because conditions is checked after the loop body. So what do we understand from all this text? What the understanding is that yes, a while statement and a do while statement both come to a halt only after the particular condition gets false. It returns a boolean false. This is true. But then what is the difference? Why are we using do while? Why are not we just using while? Sometimes what happens, a programmer wants a program to execute a certain block of the program, or a iterating program. Certain block gets one, programmer wants to get executed at least once. At that particular point of time, a do while is there to help the programmer. Now let us see this with an example. This is the control flow diagram. In this control flow diagram, you see that yes, the statement gets executed, and after that the condition will be checked. Previously, when you saw the control flow diagram of the while statement, what was there? There was the condition checking, which was before the statement or the block of statement. But here the condition is being checked after the statement has got executed. So always keep in mind, the statement executes first and the condition is checked after that. And when the condition is true, yes, then the statement again gets executed. And when the condition gets false, after that the do while loop gets exited, right? The exiting of a do while loop depends on the condition which is checked after the statement or the block of statement that we want to execute in a do while. Remember that always. Do while statement, infinite loops. The body of a do while loop must eventually make the condition false. Like we already saw in the while statements, the body must provide certain counter, just like in the while loop, which will be increasing or be decreasing, so that the condition would certainly sometime come to false. Otherwise, if the condition never comes to a false, this will again lead to an infinite loop of do while, right? If not, it is an infinite loop which will execute until the user interrupts the program. This is a common type of logical error. Always double check that your loops will terminate normally. Students, this is the third time we are studying loops, just the do while. Still, I have seen practically that many students forget all these logics that we teach them. Please keep them in mind, that while loops, do while loops, for loops, these must come to an end. Otherwise, an infinite loop will get executed and the compiler or the operating system may get hurt, right? So the condition which is being checked every time has to come to a false at some point of time. Otherwise, an infinite loop will get executed. So let us see what is the syntax of a do while loop in Java. So the syntax starts with do, right? English do, do, and then the left parenthesis, then you write the code to be executed or the loop body, then you update the counter. Remember, I told you that you need to put a counter and you need to update the counter. This is very important. Update the counter, and then we have to close the curly braces, and then after that the while appears with the condition inside the parenthesis and then a semicolon, right? So what is the difference in while and do while? The first difference is the while is put in the starting of the code, code to be executed, but a do is put in the starting of the code to be executed, and after that a while is put at the last of the curly braces, where the curly braces close. After that while is put, and then the condition inside a parenthesis is put. After that a semicolon is put, right? So let us now understand this properly with the example of a do while loop. Now what we have put over here, see, public class, this is a do while example. So we have written D in capital, W in capital, and E in capital. This is again the camel casing that we are following. After that we have put this left curly braces. After that we have written public static void main, and in the parenthesis we have put string and arguments. After that, in the left curly braces we have put int I is equal to 0, then do, and after that this parenthesis starts system.out.println my name is Gaurav, and then we have closed this parenthesis and semicolon. After that we have incremented the counter, which is I, by value 1, which is I plus plus semicolon. After that we have closed this curly braces, and after that we have put while I is less than 2, right? Then we have put a semicolon, and then we have closed both the above curly braces. The output we are getting over here is my name is Gaurav, my name is Gaurav 2 times. Now let us see how we got this output, how we got 2 times this line printed. Now see, first of all, when this program got executed, the value of I was given as 0. After that, what happened? This do gave the command of doing whatever inside the block, and then first time this system.out, this println, this command got executed, and my name is Gaurav got printed the first time, right? Just after this line got executed, my name is Gaurav got printed. After that, the counter, that is I, is got incremented by 1. I is equal to I plus 1 or I plus plus. So the value of I now became 1. And after that, what happened? The value of I when became 1, then again this curly braces closed, and while checked is I less than 2. Yes, now the value of I, which was previously 0, it now became 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes, obviously. So a boolean true is returned to the compiler, and this do while loop gets started once again. And the first line shows system.out.println my name is Gaurav. Again this line gets executed, and as soon as this line gets executed, my name is Gaurav gets printed on the screen. After that, there is I plus plus. This I plus plus again increases the value of I by 1 unit. So the previous value of I was 1, and now the value of I became 2. So this while after that checked is 2 less than 2? No, 2 is not less than 2. Then this condition gave a boolean false to the compiler, and after that the compiler stopped over here and exited from the do while loop, and therefore the output screen showed this 2 times only. Students, please remember that in a do while loop the first statement gets executed even though the while returns a false, right? Had there been in this while condition I less than 1, and even though the counter in that case would have already given a value 1, 1 less than 1, but still a print of the same thing would have already shown on the screen immediately, right? So once at least this do while gets executed. Right, now we were going to see an example of infinite do while loop. So what is an infinite do while loop? A public class do while example shows us that public static void main strings arguments int I is equal to 0 do system.out.println my name is Gaurav, right? After that we have written while I is less than 2. Now what we are seeing over here, if you see below what is the output is infinite while loop. Why were we getting an infinite do while loop output? Because we have forgotten to increase the counter. We have forgotten to increase the value of I by 1 unit or 2 unit or whatever. So it is very crucial, dear students, please keep in mind that whenever the counter is there, you have to increase the counter or decrease the counter in such a way that the condition that is being checked, it comes to a halt at some time, it comes to false at some point of time, and therefore the loop will get exited. Otherwise the loop will never get exited and keep on continuing. Like you can see in this case, the output keeps on printing itself continuously. In this example, I was 0 initially, and after that what happened? That 0 did not get incremented even though the line got printed of my name is Gaurav. So this do printed this line my name is Gaurav till while I is less than 2. So this I is less than 2 is always true because 0 is less than 2 always. So this do will keep on sending the do command and will always put this print out on the screen. So this is very important. Now if you see this example very closely, once again I am telling you that had there not been this incremental like this in the case, always this infinite loop will get executed. Now we will see the classic example why this do while is in a way bit different from the while loop. See in this example, if you see it properly, I have written also an example of do while the condition is false. Now see public class do while example, public class void main strings arguments. Over here you can see that int I is equal to 0. Initially we have initialized I as a 0. After that we have given this do while. In this do and then this program block, our program block shows an output command system.out.println my name is Gaurav. Like this, after this we have incremented this I plus plus, I is equal to I plus 1. After that, this while is showing this I is it less than 0. Now when this program will get executed, what will happen? Initially this I will be assigned a value 0, and after that this do while will do the first statement will get executed, my name is Gaurav, and then this I will be incremented by plus 1, that is the value will be increased by 1. Initially what was the value of I? It was 0. Now the value of I becomes 1, but see the beauty, while will be checked just after that I is less than 0. Is I less than 0? Is 1 less than 0? No, 1 is not less than 0. Then this will return a boolean false to the compiler, and the compiler will say okay, now after this do while loop will exit, but what happens here is that the output, you will see my name is Gaurav will be getting printed once on the output screen. This is what is the beauty of this do while statement, and that is why I am pressing on it again and again. Students make a lot of mistake in this do while and while statement. Please always keep this in mind. Even though this while will get checked afterwards, and the condition it is checking, even if it is false, but this do command will get executed, the program will get executed, the program block will get executed at least once. Therefore, similarly in this condition, in this case system.out.println, this line got executed, and the line after that I plus plus also get executed. Even though if you would have written another line over here or a series of lines over here, all those, even those were also print command, they would also have got executed. And anything inside this do while will get executed at least once, even though the while loop test conditions fails, it gives a false, right? So always the student must keep in mind that a do while statement gets executed at least once, even though the condition that is being checked, it returns false, right? So after this we will see a quick summary about what we have studied in this today's class. In today's class we first of all saw this while statements in Java. What are the while statements? While statements are a kind of looping statements. Like we saw in the previous class, the for statements were also a kind of looping statements in Java. The while statements control the flow, and therefore this control flow diagram was also displayed to you. This control flow diagram showed that when this condition will get false, the while statement gets exited. The while statements also go into infinite loops. You must always keep a counter inside the while loop and increase it. If you will not increase the counter inside the while loop, this will go into infinite loop. After that we saw what are the syntax of writing a while loop. A while loop has initially you have a counter, then you have a while loop, and then the while, inside the while you give a condition which must come to a false, so that the while loop must stop. And then after the writing the while, you will write the body or the program block just after the while, right? And then we saw certain examples of while loops, these while loops, and after that we came to do while statements in Java. And in what were the do while statements in Java? The do while statements, again, this is a kind of control flow statements, and we saw the control flow diagrams also for that. The do while statements get exited at least once, right? They get executed at least once, even though the condition is false, right? This you have to keep in mind. And after that we saw the do while infinite statements are also there. Infinite loops get scrapped because you have forgotten to increase or decrease the counter in the do while statement. After that, what we saw the syntax of the do while loop in Java. What is the syntax of do while loop in Java? After that, we saw the examples of do while loops, right? So this is all for today's class. Thank you so much, dear students.